As someone who supports survivors who are navigating parental wounds, mother wounds, father wounds, I'm going to say parental wounds because also as a queer, integrative sexologist, everything's the binary. I'm always having to deconstruct for folks. If you connect the dots with regarding Tabitha, people's reactions to Tabitha Brown, and even not so much what she said, because there's a part of social media in which we are engaging with each other, and folks who choose to engage with content, regardless of whether you like the person or not, you still have a responsibility to process with clarity, not only if the message is for you, but as a mirror, what parts of you is it activating that you need to take care of? It shows up in your personal relationships, it shows up in your professional relationships, and it's showing up in your social media relationships and perceptions of social media. One of the things that I had to realize is that I was showing up personally online when people were expecting to see me professionally. And then recognizing that I am not here for consumption base, but as a entrepreneur who is an outpatient somatic sex therapist. What I also recognize too and who has also experienced business failure, not only because of the impact of the pandemic, but because of how my wounds show up as an entrepreneur, and my mother wounds particularly, where I overgave. I did not honor my boundaries. People took what I gave them. And then I had to learn a different relationship between receiving and giving. That's a conversation for another day. But what I really want us to unpack for ourselves is how are we using our resources like social media as a reflection to do shadow work. Remember when shadow work was really big a couple of years ago? This is how shadow work shows up now, is that when you're receiving a message that does not sit well with you, the courage to sit with that feeling instead of reacting from that feeling, like that feeling is causing truth, is really to interrogate it. And this goes back to the literacy, the comprehension, the ability to understand the embodiment skills that's needed in order for us to even fight fascism. Y'all are not even unpacking your relationship to capitalism, how your parental wounds are impacting your ability to engage with capitalism as an entrepreneur, and how to also see that in struggle, it's a representation of like growth and where you're supposed to go. And sometimes it is that whole thing about like, don't shoot the messenger. Y'all shot the messenger. Y'all shot the messenger. And I do recognize, if you looked at Dr. Orio's video and Dr. Raquel's videos, those videos are so on point about people's response and in Tabitha Brown's understanding of nuance when we're messaging. And I get we all need that. And also, it's our responsibility, if you're going to be on the side of consuming, that you interrogate your consumption. You interrogate your consumption. You interrogate celebrity culture and how you are holding people on a pedestal who is being human, who's engaging in capitalism from a place of ethics or not. Because that's where your boundaries, your values, your things show up, where you were supposed to interrogate for that for yourself. And then take what resonates and leave the rest. But this pile on behavior, and then y'all all do think pieces like you're not responding to capitalism because, oh, this becomes content. And so you're responding to a spiritual energy because algorithm is spiritual energy. You're responding to an energy that is preventing you from interrogating your shadow for integration so you can show up and be community and show up and do your part in collaboration with the messages and take the parts of the messages that's going to help you and your folks to say, this is where I am. Because as someone who experienced business failure, a mental health crisis because of that business failure, and then pulled back, restructured my entire practice, took 2 years to really do some sexual shadow work and to get right with myself about how I was showing up, because I could not get mad at the boundaries that people were not seeing because I was not exercising them. And then to also understand how my sense of self and my family of origin, my parental guidance or lack thereof impacted my ability to show up as a person, as an entrepreneur, as a leader, as a decision maker. That's my responsibility. And of course, we're not going to hear people talk about that because it's easier to dump on someone else than to lovingly assess with yourself where you need to grow. I came back from that 2-year practice and I got a job until I had the mental and emotional space to come back to do what I'm doing right now. And now I have the practice that I have always wanted. I have because because the shadow work integrates, its embodiment work, mind, body, spirit, and energy. There are so many nuggets that I really wish we would be courageous enough to consider. But capitalism and chasing the bag has people in such a fucking chokehold. We are giving away our freedoms, freedom of thought, freedom of expression, freedom to regulate. We're giving away because we're being reactive. Go back and revisit your shadow work. You left some breadcrumbs for yourself. This should be a reflection of the work you need to do. And if you want to do more of this shadow work, follow my accounts. Look at my work at erospirituality.com or healingtheeroticself.com, because now you have to take the lessons from your shadow work and apply the practices. And that is how change and transformation happens. And I wish you well.